how did we renovate our kitchen on a budget? Let's go. Okay, so the first step that we did, actually, we did it all backwards, so I would not do it in this order that we did it in, but instead do it in the order that I think you should do it in. So we had the ceiling plastered first, which I think is wise because it's a mess, and yeah, just needed to get that done before the rewire. So we had the ceiling plastered, then we had the rewire, and they installed the spotlights for us. We didn't do that ourselves. I don't think I'd be able to do that myself. And then obviously because of the rewire, the electricians had to take off all the old tiles to get behind to install the new plugs. So at that point, we were left with like really minging area of tiles, which unfortunately we did leave it like that for a couple of months because we just had other things in the house that were a bit more important. So that's what we did there. We decided to sand the floor early on, which was a mistake. Please leave your floors till the last dying minute because everything gets trampled on them and oh, it was just a mess. So one of my biggest DIY fails is this floor. Unfortunately, we had it sanded, but we didn't hire an edging sander, so it was all round the sides. And then when it came to sanding it again, then we hired the edging sander, but like we didn't sand it properly. We were like in such a rush just to get the floor sealed, so that, because we had a puppy at the time, well, we still got a puppy, but he's not as incontinent as he was, peeing all over the floor. So I will do the floor last and I'll speak about the floor a bit more in a minute. But yeah, so we did the tiles ourselves, and I do highly recommend that if you have got a kitchen project and you're thinking, right, I would love to tile, if you haven't got any tiles at the moment or you want to change it, I would highly, highly, highly recommend doing it yourself. It's not as difficult, in my opinion, as I once thought when I never tried tiling before. So we tiled the bathroom in our old home, so we were a bit confident that we could do this. We didn't want to do the shower and bathroom because we wanted to make sure that that was fully waterproof. But for a backsplash, I really do think you can do it yourself. So a couple of things that you need to do the backsplash is you need the tiles for a start, adhesive, grout. So you need to pick a colour. So I went with white because I didn't want the black grout because I felt like that's more of an Art Deco sort of vibe, and I'm going for Japandi Scandi vibe, which is like a bit more calm and natural materials, and that's what I want anyway. So we've gone for white. So you want to pick your grout colour, you want to pick your tiles. Don't ask me how to do herringbone because I haven't got a clue. I'm sure there's plenty of videos on YouTube that will show you how to tile your backsplash and herringbone. We went with this very simple design. It's very like modern at the moment to have these tiles as they are like this, stacked up like this. But we also bought an angle grinder. I think if you're gonna be doing any more DIY projects in your house, it's good to invest in an angle grinder. I will just go and get the one that we've got. So we've got the Makita angle grinder. You just need to make sure that you've got a diamond blade that cuts through ceramic and porcelain. We got this one for £10, I think, off Amazon, and it's done a really good job, and it's cut other things as well that we needed it to. I know it seems a bit like scary, but it's actually one of the best tools because it literally just does everything for you. So you just plug it in, you mark up the tiles, and you literally just cut into it. I would have safety goggles on and gloves if you can. But yeah, this is brilliant. You can use a tile cutter, but because these were porcelain, not ceramic, the tile cutter just wouldn't cut it properly. It wouldn't do it in a nice line, and then you can't get the intricate cuts with the tile cutter like you can with the angle grinder. So I would definitely advise getting an angle grinder if that is something that you want to do yourself. This will make the job so much easier. Just make sure you've got a good, safe working space with goggles and everything that you need to be safe, and make sure you Google how to use one because we had to do that before. But yeah, we just now that it's all set up, we just plug it in and you can just cut away basically. Once you've got your perfectly cut tile, or the ones that you don't need to cut, you just layer on the adhesive on the back and you stick it on, and then you pop the spacers in, and then you do the next one and the next one and the next one. And I would highly advise giving it a go yourself if you are on a budget, because I think with the backsplash, I'm pretty sure ours is completely waterproof anyway, but if it's not completely waterproof, it's not the end of the world because I'm not showering in here. It's just a couple of splashes from the sink, which is fine. So yeah, that's how we did the backsplash. And yeah, like I said, I would highly recommend trying giving it a go yourself. You could even buy a piece of MDF or plasterboard and have a go before you do it on the wall. Yeah, and I think it's just a really easy, good way to update your space without having to spend hundreds of pounds, because you can get fairly relatively cheap like Metro tiles and adhesive and grout as well. So that's the backsplash. The next thing we had to do was paint the cupboard doors. I'm really happy for my friend. She gave me a good kick in to say, get on with your kitchen, love. So basically what we had to do is, well actually when we first did the bottom ones we didn't take them off, but I would highly recommend taking all the cupboard doors off, putting them in another room, giving them a prime with Zinser bin. Okay, so I think this is one of the best primers on the market. It is amazing for using on surfaces that need adhesive, you know, so painting over laminate, painting on cupboard doors. You could paint over IKEA furniture that's just laminated with this Zinser bin. So it's a primer and a sealer in one. But it's a shellac based primer, and I think it's one of the better ones on the market. It really kind of like creates a layer on the silky surface for the paint to adhere to. And to be fair, it's actually done a really good job. I do need to seal the whole kitchen. But even though we haven't sealed it, there's only been a couple of places where the paint has chipped, and that's because where we put the cupboard doors on, they're actually rubbing against each other. But if they weren't rubbing against each other, then we wouldn't have had a problem. So we gave the kitchen one coat over. I did think maybe I could have done two. I think if I could go back, I'd probably just do two just to be safe, but one has been totally fine. And then we went over it with railings, the colour from Farrow and Ball. There's quite a bit left in here. This is only 2.5 litres. So a lot of people in my comments on one of my videos that went viral on YouTube Shorts were saying that, how can I call it a budget kitchen budget kitchen makeover when I was using Farrow and Ball, because this was £68 for the tin. But I do believe that if I bought a cheaper tin, I would have had to have gone back to B&Q and got a second tin, whereas this is about this much left. I've done 3 to 4 coats on these cupboard doors, so I think, considering there's actually some left, and I've also done the kitchen door with this railings as well, budget in my opinion compared to a new kitchen. So yeah, that's how we painted the kitchen cupboards, and then we changed all the handles, which is really straightforward. You just unscrew the old ones and screw the new ones back in. If I'd gone for handles, then I would have had to have made new holes with the drill, but we just decided to go with these ones for now. And yeah, and then back to the floor really. All we did with the floor is we sanded it. We hired a industrial sander from HSS Hire, and then we hired the edging sander. I put a layer of white stain on, and then I think I did another layer of white stain. A lot of people saying like I've ruined it painting over it, but I haven't painted over it. Like most people stain their woods, you get a pine floor, it's usually stained in a darker oak colour or something like that. So it's not that I've done something different, it's just I've gone a little bit lighter and most people go darker. But I think, you know, with the dark cupboards, it made sense to go lighter on the floor. I then sealed it 3 times with a clear floor sealer from Rustin's, which I think was great. I loved it. And it's really easy to maintain now. I can wipe whatever I want and it's totally fine. And then, just to mention, we had a new hob and a new oven. The electrician put the oven in for us because it is an electric oven, and we paid Currys some money to come and install the hob as well, but we couldn't get those done until we had the rewire done. So yeah, we were waiting for a few things, and then this cupboard door is sticking out a little bit, but I got a very similar cupboard door to house the integrated washing machine, which didn't have a door on it before, but it blends in pretty well. That's the beauty of painting your own kitchen, is you can get things to blend in quite well. I also used Lick White 02 on the walls and the ceiling. I am working with Lick on a gifted basis, so that was gifted to me. So yeah, I don't think we're going to do much more in the kitchen now. But yeah, that's how we did our kitchen budget makeover. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to know how much everything cost, I have done a separate video on all things cost in this kitchen, just to see if you would like to do it yourself. Anyway, if you like this video, please give me a like or a subscribe, or both. That would be fantastic, and I shall see you in the next video.